Alright, stopped at a Subway out here on the interstate. A friend of mine before I left gave me a Subway gift card, so thanks for that gift card. And one important thing, a lot of people get it wrong ordering at Subway. A lot of people say the sandwich, and then the bread, and then 6-inch or foot long. It's not very efficient. You should be saying which bread, so the employee can grab it, then 6-inch or foot long, so the employee knows whether to cut it in half or not before slicing it open, and then the sandwich, so the employee can start making it. As much as I would like to take credit for this, it was one of the lunch ladies in elementary school, because if you got a sandwich, so many kids would do it the opposite. They would say, oh, bologna and cheese on the big roll, and then she would tell every single one every single time, I need to grab the bread before I know what to put on it. So tell me which roll, small or big, and then tell me what you want on it, and this will all go a lot faster. And as far as I can tell, I was the only one who ever actually listened and did it the efficient way she wanted. So she told us that in like '96. I'm still doing it. Still do it at Subway. Nobody does it. I've never heard someone else do it, and I've even told my dad how to do it and the reason for it, and he still doesn't. So as far as I could tell, just one so far. But in addition to trying to get the entire world to use spoons with their rice, I hope one day the entire world understands how to order at Subway. So this shack behind me is locked and actually used for something. Not like that one in the middle of nowhere in California. But I got so much great feedback on the shack, I thought I would stand here, try to get out of the wind. And a few things. Jerry. I met Jerry, he watches the videos. I met him Saturday night at Venetian. So thanks for watching the videos, Jerry. I met another guy at MGM. It was the night of Conrad's meetup game. We were both there for the meetup game. He went to the podium. The podium told him it was canceled. He told me, and then I checked. They said it was canceled 4 days earlier. So Conrad had a meetup game scheduled, then canceled it, and then I was still there playing. No meetup game, but I'm still at MGM playing that day on the 24th. Conrad shows up to play. So he had a meetup game, canceled it, showed up anyway. He crashed his own meetup game, which are some of the characteristics you might understand now why I said that would be the most fun meetup game if you ever get to play at Conrad's table. So I didn't actually play with him that day, but we were both in the room. Meetup game officially canceled. Anyway, the guy I met earlier, shout out to him, never got his name. Also, I'm gonna put a poll on Twitter. I'll put a link to my Twitter page in the description, and I'll put my Twitter name on the screen. I want to know what you guys like most. I think the main 3 things I do on the channel are poker stats. The second is probably stories from the table. And third is probably anything that has to do with living nomadically, room rates, expenses, things like that. So, if you could vote so I get a sense of what people like and what people don't, and I'll try to lean towards the topics that people enjoy more than the ones they don't. So in the interest of full disclosure, I said to the employee, multi-grain bread, foot long, BMT. In that order. It was very efficient. The most efficient customer he had all day, hands down, probably in his entire life. Just cows going by to slaughter. Typical Nebraska. See those apartments out in the distance? I used to live in those apartments when I lived in Nebraska and went to law school in Lincoln. Behind me are protected wetlands between those apartments I used to live in and the interstate. Not allowed to build anything. And I'm getting eaten alive by bugs out here. But it's worth it. Because actually, there were a lot of times I would study all night and walk to the casino. Walk to the gas station at like 1 a.m. You would see some interesting animals running around in the wetlands. Some things that looked like, I don't know, maybe beavers. It was dark. Some things that were definitely deer. Anyway. One thing I wanted to talk to that was poker related in this part 2 of the road trip episode. A few people in the comments when I put up stats about cities, like I go by my Vegas stats and then other stats, and they're surprised the Vegas stats are as low as they are. The thing you need to understand, the tourists do make up a large percent of the player pool in Vegas, but that means the games are tighter. It doesn't mean the games are looser than normal. People have always gone to Vegas for what they can't get at home. That used to mean gambling. You wanted to gamble, you went to Vegas. Then there were two options, Vegas and Atlantic City. The country had two options if you wanted to gamble. Now, gambling is ubiquitous, and this is a great day to mention that, because I'm going to a casino with great poker, even though there's only 18 tables in Council Bluffs. There are poker rooms everywhere. You don't need to go to Vegas to play poker. People who are addicted to poker and want to play every day, degenerates, just you're non-degenerate but losing players, they don't need to go to Vegas to play. People still go to Vegas for what they can't get at home. Now it's clubs, it's hiking, it's fine dining, it's shows. It's just not gambling and poker anymore. So when people make trips to Vegas, it's rarely for poker. They have their money earmarked for other things, and if they play poker, it's not for that long, and they're pretty conservative. So the tourist population in Vegas, they're mostly looking for the social aspect of the game. They're not ready to come in and like lose 5 buy-ins. So that's why it makes sense that Vegas is my worst city if you separate my stats and my hourlies by city. Still enough to win, still enough to make a living, just not as good as other places.